One Piece Chapter 1026 is out, and surprisingly enough, we are still on the rooftop. I fully expected us to have shifted over to King and Queen Zoro and Sanji, but we got more rooftop than anything. We only saw a glimpse of Queen. But I am never upset about having more roof piece. The cover story this week is of Nami and Leo making clothes for Minx. Now when I first saw this, I thought it was Rebecca, and then I thought it was Vivi. So the character design got me off a little bit because it just seems like the facial structure and the way her hair was, it looked like a lot of characters to me. Now this is another chapter that starts us off in the flower capital. Now we've gotten a few of these where we kind of just see what's happening here. We see the people enjoying their time, and we see Tinguyama talking with Otoko. He's thinking about Otama and how she went off to fight against the Beast Pirates, and how there wasn't much he could do to stop her, so he's kind of just hoping she's okay. In the background of all that, we actually see Onigashima approaching the flower capital, as in we see it in the clouds moving from the distance. It doesn't seem like any of the people have noticed this yet, it's just moving in. Back on the rooftop, we actually see that there's a Mary recording and transmitting what's happening on the rooftop. And they're transmitting that basically Kaido the Azure Dragon is fighting a Peach Dragon, which isn't exactly the case. It's more of a stare down than it is a fight between two dragons, but as they're seeing it, they just see two amazing dragons flying around. They also mentioned Yamato and Luffy being up here, and that kind of gives the rest of the dome an idea of what's been happening on the rooftop. They were wondering why Kaido was stalled, they were wondering where Luffy was at, they were wondering where the dragon went, and they kind of realize now that everything's happening on the rooftop. We do get a glimpse of Queen at this point, and it doesn't seem like he's fighting, it just seems like he's in his hybrid form, kind of like very early hybrid form when we saw him first start to kind of grow his neck out, because it looks like he's kind of in the same body shape, just with his dinosaur facial structure. Not sure if this means he's taking a break from the fighting, if he's shifting around, but we do see that it seems like he's not in the middle of a fight right now. Kaido uses Boro Breath, and while that move never hits, I didn't expect anything different here. Surprisingly enough, since Momo can't counter Boro Breath with his own, he actually just dodges it with a fancy kind of intricate flying maneuver. Now this I didn't expect because that seems like a lot of body control for Momo to have when just having this new form, but I also like it because that means he's getting more adept to moving around. Luffy basically hatches a plan to have Momo bite Kaido, and then he charges in himself without giving Momo a second to even consider the idea. And he lands a elephant gun, which is the first move we saw Luffy use against Kaido way back when he first arrived in Wano. And it has the same effect where he punches him in the head and it sends him down into the ground. Momo then uses this time to kind of conjure up enough spirit to go and bite Kaido. And he does this by kind of going through his memories of what Kaido's done to his family. And this gives him enough raw anger and spirit to just go in and bite Kaido. And it seems like this, more of anything, takes Kaido off guard. I don't necessarily want to say it hurts him. It just seems like, he's very shocked that he's got bit by a dragon. Kaido even looks back and asks him what he thinks he's doing, but all this does is give Luffy an opportunity to come in and nail a Haki blow on Kaido's face. We also see Yamato charging in, so I think what's going to happen here is that once enough has been done to Kaido, Yamato and Momo are going to take off, and they're going to try and stop the island together. And this is what I've been expecting to happen since way back when Yamato mentioned that she knew about, dragons using clouds to lift islands. This was basically a given that those two are going to be together when they try and save Onigashima from falling. In the midst of this, we pan to some other fights, which are Jack versus Inuyarashi and Perospero versus Nekomamushi, and it seems like the Minks are down for the count. Now, I kind of expected Jack to take the win on this just because he's one of the Calamities. He isn't necessarily a weak character, and even though he's been through a lot, he's still got that insane durability. Perospero, on the other hand, was a very welcome surprise, because this means that Nekomamushi essentially needed Sulong form to be able to compete with Perospero. And Perospero's been injured too, so it's not like, it's a fresh fight versus an injured Nekomamushi. They've both been injured. It's just the fact that Perospero was able to keep up, which is insane if you think about it, because he's not one of the Sweet Commanders. He's not exactly a fighter in the sense that the Big Mom Pirates rely on him for combat, but he's still able to hold his own, which I really like. And while we know how this turns out, we'll get back to it in a second, because we gotta hop back to the roof, to see Luffy talking to Momo, because this is a very pivotal moment in Momo's life. Basically, what Luffy's done here is he's given him the opportunity to overcome a lot of his fears. He told Momo to bite Kaido because when you look at the grand scheme of things, he challenged, fought, and even bit a Yonko. Not many people in the One Piece world can say they've done that before, so that gives Momo basically this confidence where you're leagues above other people. You have the ability, you have the courage, you have the spirit to do these things, and you've just done it. And in Luffy's own way, it's kind of silly because all Momo did was bite Kaido. Of all things, he bit him. Like, you know, we see Luffy bite enemies all the time, and it does zero things to him. You know, it never like wins a fight, it never does a lot of damage. It's just Luffy being Luffy. But what it does here is that it gives Momo confidence, and he even goes on to say that now that he's done this, you know, things don't seem as scary. Other things in the world don't seem as scary anymore because I just bit Kaido. And this moment goes to sip a few points, one being that the rest of Onigashima now knows who the dragon is because Luffy speaks to him as Momo. And this gets transmitted through the mirrors so everyone can hear that Luffy's talking to Momo. And of all people up there, it's Luffy, Yamato, Kaido, and a dragon. So process of elimination. Second, Luffy says that he will definitely beat Kaido. And what this does is it instills confidence in the rest of the alliance. We have Momo back in this amazing dragon form. We have Luffy back. He's ready to fight Kaido and win. So we have everyone cheering for him and cheering for his victory. And the final thing it sets up is the sky-splitting Haki Clash. Now, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect anything of this scale to be happening quite so soon. Now, while I'm not going to jump the gun and just say that Luffy is on the tier of like Whitebeard, Shanks, and Kaido and Big Mom, I think this means that he is a Yonko in his own right. He does have the caliber of a Yonko. While maybe he isn't as strong, maybe he doesn't have as much feats as the rest of the Yonko do, he definitely has the caliber for it. And at this point, he needs to be, because the people he's going to be fighting from here on out are going to be really strong people. We're going to be fighting other Yonko. We still have to take on Big Mom, we still have to take on Blackbeard, we still have to take on Shanks. You know, we've got Akainu, we've got whatever Im-sama is. We've got Yonko level people for the end of the journey. He's got to be this caliber. Now, in splitting the skies, they actually open the moon back up and allow Inuyasha and Nekomamushi to go back into Sulong form. And I'm wondering if there's any like long-lasting effects to them constantly going in and out of Sulong, but I guess we'll see that at the end of the war. Either way, they use this time to do the last-ditch effort, and they both take out their enemies. Nekomamushi takes out Perospero, Inuyasha takes out Jack, and we have the conclusions of those fights. And the panels are fantastic. Them using Odin one sword style to kind of take out each enemy is definitely fantastic. I do wish that Jack would have been around a little bit more. You know, he came back, we expected some high durability feats, we expected him to be in the fight again, but I thought it would be against more than just Inuyasha. I'm kind of surprised that he was taken out here. Perospero, I'm not as surprised about because I didn't think he would be lasting this long. I thought he would have been done before, you know, this chapter. You know, we would have came back to him knocked out on the ground, but the fact that he lasted this long, I think is just a feat for Perospero. And at the very, very end of the chapter, we have Orochi looking out at Jack being defeated. Why? I'm not entirely sure. I figured Orochi would have gone somewhere else, just doing whatever he can to try and escape, especially considering that the Beast Pirates wouldn't be protecting him anymore. So I don't know why he was looking to Jack like, oh no, even Jack got defeated. As if Jack was still, you know, up and running, he wouldn't go after Orochi. So I'm not really sure what his thought process is here. I'm not sure where he's headed. What I do expect is for him to, at some point in time, run into Momo and his basically adult form. And this is when we're going to see Momo take on Orochi and cut off his last head, in my opinion. Thought this was another good chapter. It felt so short, but we got like 3 different double page spreads, which are amazing, but they really like shorten up a chapter, especially if it's like double page spread and action on each one. It feels like that chapter goes by really fast. But let me know what you guys thought about the chapter down below. Please like, comment, subscribe. I will have a poll in the description as well, and I will catch you guys in the next review. Bye. You know they say that kings aren't born to be made, and
Sometimes I don't have a lot to say, but this